Will try to salvage as much as they can to rebuild the historic covered bridge that fell in Stonelick Creek. Both sides of the bridge collapsed yesterday afternoon as workers restored that 135-year-old span. 4 people narrowly escaped injury. The bridge has carried traffic since 1878, and as Joe Webb tells us, the rebuilt version may have more new wood and steel than first planned.
And then that's the scaffolding on the left-hand side that they built.
For 33 years, Catherine Rush-Ossenbeck has looked out the window of her den at an historic covered bridge. Today, this is what she's looking at. She was working at her desk when it collapsed about 2:30 yesterday.
All of a sudden, I heard this enormous crash that sustained for several seconds. And I knew something horrible had happened.
Crews from the Ryder Company have been restoring the bridge since last fall. Yesterday, they were jacking up the entire span to replace damaged wood on what's called the bottom chord. They know what happened, but not why.
The east side of the bridge started to lean, and it finally fell out of plumb and ultimately ended up in the river. And shortly after the east side went, much like a domino effect, the west side followed it.
One side of the historic Howe Truss design is now in Stonelick Creek. The other side is laying where the roadway used to be. The immediate plan is to get the truss out of the creek and see what can be salvaged. At one point in time, there were 68 covered bridges in Clermont County. Since 1967, this has been the only one. Historians and engineers went back and forth on the restoration plans and found some middle ground. This could change things. The county engineer says Catherine Rush-Ossenbeck will eventually have a new view of an old covered bridge.
We'll definitely rebuild it. I mean, the question is how much of the of the historic wooden structures can be reused.
Now the priority is to get as much of the old bridge out of the creek before it rises. Takes it away 135 years after it arrived. In Stonelick Township, Joe Webb, Local 12 News.
A county bridge inspector and 3 workers were on that bridge when it collapsed. Since the siding had been removed from the trusses, they were able to get out between the timbers as the walls fell, and all escaped without getting hurt.